College basketball. Holy shit, it's here. Conference play. We're in the middle of it. I fucking love this sport, dude. This is your
Uh,
bread and butter. This is your
this is my shit. If you're a college football guy, and I love college football with all my heart, and but like when it comes to college basketball, this is my shit. I'm this is the best time of the year. I mean, we're gonna ease into it a little bit. We've kind of been easing into it. We're getting into conference play, but trust me, the blink of an eye, it's gonna be full throttle college hoops, and it's amazing. We have a lot of games. Like now that we are in conference play, we've gotten past that little dead zone.
yep.
There are, I mean, I have 16 down right here that we're gonna do game picks for. We're not gonna, necessarily give our predictions for every game per se on the
Mhm.
pod right now. But there were more than 16 that I could have talked about. And we're also recording this on Tuesday. Normally, we're going to record this on Monday so that we can include the Tuesday games. Right now, I believe North Carolina and Pitt are playing. There are a couple games that I, would have loved to discuss on the pod. Um, but with that being said, let's start with tomorrow. We have Xavier going into Villanova, two teams that have history of being really, really good.
Mhm.
And right now they're both unranked, but they're both still good teams with good talent and good coaches. You have Desmond Claude leading Xavier. You still have Nunji, I think. Um, you know, Xavier played Texas last year in the Sweet 16, and it was a decently close game. Texas was just on fire. But like we were close to being able to say, oh, this is an Xavier team that was in the Final Four. It could have happened. Villanova, sloppy year last year, got better at the end. Justin Moore's healthy now. Eric Dixon's healthy now.
Yep.
Really mature team, learning under this new coach after Jay Wright. They have some weird losses, but they have some really big wins, and they get Xavier at home, and the spread's only 5.
Yeah, I'm on Villanova in this one. Like you said, Villanova's been so weird. They have a win over Memphis. They have a win over Texas Tech. And then they have losses to Penn and St. Joe's and Drexel.
Drexel.
They beat North
Drexel.
Carolina. Like
Yep.
this team's been so weird all year long. But at home, I trust them at home. So I'm going to take Villanova in this game.
Yeah, especially with what we're seeing in the Big East so far, because they've kind of started conference play a little bit, sprinkled some in late December, and it seems like the home team is winning every time. Like it's
Yep.
just kind of crazy, and I'm going to talk about that a little more when we get to like some best bets.
Yep.
But like the home team in college basketball is a superpower. Let's touch on another game tomorrow real quick, and then we'll just touch on a couple more. But my Clemson Tigers, who are ranked 16th, which I find a little bit disrespectful because we have a fantastic resume and
Yep.
only one loss on the road by 2 to Memphis, right?
Yep.
And we're ranked 16th. If you go to any bracketology anywhere, you're going to see Clemson as a 2 seed or a 3 seed. Anywhere you go to Bracket Matrix. If you don't know Bracket Matrix, it's every single person online who does bracketology, and it's just this massive chart of where they have every team. It's amazing. You can look at all bracketologies at once. Clemson's a 2 or 3 in all of them. But the AP poll thinks they're a 4 fringe 5, which is kind of crazy. But they are traveling as a favorite to Miami. And if there's something I love, it's taking a good team against a ranked team, the good team that's unranked at home, if they're an underdog. It is an unbelievable, unbelievable success rate. So even though I am going to be rooting aggressively for Clemson and hope to God that we win, I will not be predicting that. I think Miami wins if they're at home.
Yeah, and Miami's been on a little bit of a roll here too, but they've played LaSalle, Stonehill, and North Florida. The last good team that Miami played, the last 2 good teams actually that Miami's played is Colorado, who they lost to at home, and Kentucky, who they got whooped
They got
by.
smoked.
Yeah. So I think there's a little bit more smoke and mirrors with this Miami team than some people think. Their resume, you talked about Clemson's resume being unbelievably impressive. Miami's resume actually not impressive at all. They really haven't beat anybody as good as this Clemson team. So I'm going to take Clemson in this one.
Yeah. And so one of our listeners, or at least followers on Instagram, is a man by the name of Michael Kraft. Don't know him, but he's very active, and he's a very active Miami fan. And at the beginning of the year, I said, Miami has maybe the easiest non-conference ACC schedule that I've
So
like
easy.
ever seen. I was just like, wow, they have one opportunity to get like a resume boosting win, and that's on the road at Kentucky,
Yep.
which is a game that they were never going to win in the first place. Even if they were like a top 10 team, they were going to lose that game because
Yep.
Kentucky at Rupp is a different beast.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised at all that, we're sitting here saying like, wow, are they even a bracket team right now? Because they don't have the resume, but I do still think that they're a good team. They still have, they have Matthew Cleveland from Florida State who came in, who's a really good player. They still have Norchad O'Meara. They have Ruga Poplar. And like in this game where you get to play at home, which it's different. Miami basketball is a different beast. Miami football, you have to travel to Hard Rock Stadium to watch the games. Miami basketball, they normally have their fans show out, especially for big games. Clemson is really, really good, especially offensively, but Miami can score at will. I don't think Joe Girard is going to be able to defend a light post against Miami. I think they're going to be if they get hot from three, like I can see them winning this game. I think it'll be close, but if they need that resume boosting win right now, which they do, and they have an experienced head coach in Larinaga, and they're at home and they're a dog, you just gotta for me.
Hey, I don't blame you for
like
taking them there.
Clemson. I like that you're going Clemson. I also want Clemson to win. I want that to be clear. I really very badly do. But really quick, we don't need to talk about it. All I want to say is Arizona. They're hosting Colorado on Thursday. Arizona just lost to Stanford. At Stanford, Stanford's a good team. Stanford was plus 800. That was nuts because I bet on Stanford. I did because it fits the mold of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take the good team at home against the ranked team, and they won by a lot. So
yeah, I think Arizona fucking dog walks Colorado here. They're gonna be upset. They're gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
they just lost. Yeah. So, you have UConn
is playing. They're playing at Butler.
Butler.
I have Butler. Yeah, I'm taking Butler in this. Yep.
Why?
Because Butler's playing at home against a ranked team, and they're a dog, and they're good. Thad Matta, Butler's doing a great thing.
I do like Thad Matta a lot. Greg Oden's on that staff too.
Yep, they've turned the culture around there. They were kind of like in the post Brad Stevens era, just like, oh, they're okay. No, they're pretty bad. Blah blah blah. I think they're getting back to playing good Big East basketball. Now, this one's obviously a little more bold because UConn is the 4th ranked team in the country, and they have the rare capability of just smoking any team they play whenever they want. But if I'm going by the logic of what is college basketball, assuming Butler, which I think you're an Indiana resident, I think Butler fans are going to be crazy in that game.
Butler fans love Butler basketball. Like they love Butler basketball.
It's going to be insane in there. And that's what I mean with college basketball is there's no home court advantage or home field advantage in any sport that matches college basketballs. It's insane. So I'm just taking Butler because I know they're going to be a dog. And it's like the same concept. If we recorded this a week ago and I was like, I'm taking Stanford over Arizona, you'd be like, what on earth are you talking about? So, and it happened by a lot. So yeah, I'm taking Butler. This game's great. Illinois, Purdue.
Purdue at home. I'm not betting Purdue at I'm not betting against Purdue.
I think it's gonna be like a 6.5 to 7 point spread. But I mean, I don't know. It's still a top 10 matchup that should be really exciting. This is kind of like how real is Illinois? Because if they go out and get smoked, it's kind of like, okay, the Big Ten still stinks. Purdue's the only team that's worth a damn. But if Illinois plays some good hoops against Purdue on the road, you got to look at Illinois as a contender in March. Next, you are going Seton Hall here, which is sort of like me going Butler, but it's Marquette at Seton Hall. Marquette's going to be the favorite.
Yep.
Seton Hall's at home against the ranked team. I should go Seton Hall. You're going Seton Hall. I'm going Marquette just because they've already lost a game just like this, and I don't think they can afford to keep doing it. But
yeah, I agree. Marquette has been so up and down this year. The thing is they can score. They can score the basketball, but they can't really defend. It's why I'm nervous about them in March, and it's why I'm nervous about them in this game. They've come off two good conference wins. They beat Georgetown and they beat Creighton. Both of those games were at home. Now they have to go back on the road, and Marquette has struggled on the road this season. In their last two road games, they played at Providence and they lost, and they played at Wisconsin and they lost. Like, this isn't
big.
like Seton Hall's a solid team. Like, they've been pretty decent this year. They've won some games that like they probably shouldn't have. Like, they beat Missouri, they beat UConn.
Yeah, the UConn game is what makes me believe that this is very possible for Seton Hall to win, because
Yep.
I wasn't so sure about them. They
Yep.
have Olamir Dawes, who's a Clemson transfer. He should be a fifth-year senior by now, but he's a baller. I feel like they might have Kadari Richmond still. He's a bucket getter. Like, they pretty much, I feel like, have the same core scorers that they had last year. And last year, they were kind of like a fringe bubble team throughout the entire season. You know, maybe dropping like a game against DePaul, but beating UConn. Like, I can totally see Seton Hall winning this game. I just think, like, where's that Marquette road win going to come? Because obviously it's not that every single home team wins every time.
Yeah.
It's just you have to kind of feel it out. Like, if they just lost to Providence, who was unranked on the road, that was like a week and a half ago. Are they going to lose to Seton Hall right after that? I don't know their road game after Seton Hall, but I think it might be a tough opponent. It's just like, I feel like they have to get this one.
Yeah.
But
and we'll see. Seton Hall plays Providence on Wednesday. So another game to like kind of keep an eye on before this one. So could be interesting.
True. Yeah.
North Carolina, Clemson. So we're switched on Clemson here. You have Clemson.
We are
here. I have Clemson the first game.
Big week for Clemson. They're the only team on here twice.
Yep.
But it's kind of because, well, I mean
these are two big matchups.
They're the only ranked team playing tomorrow, and then UNC Clemson. That's a massive game on Saturday. You're going North Carolina. I am going Clemson. Just in the sense that I think when it comes to North Carolina, a lot of their pride and ability, it comes from what they can get out of Armando Bacot. Because like, if Bacot is kind of getting what he wants inside, getting big rebounds, blah, 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 then North Carolina is in a good spot. And they also, if North Carolina is hitting their threes, which with Cormac Ryan now they can, but I think we're going to be able to defend and rebound against Bacot with Ian Sheffield and PJ Hall. It's really going to be like a foul trouble situation, like who's in foul trouble, what. But again, if Clemson's at home, I'm going to take Clemson in this one.
Yep.
And you're going North Carolina.
Yep. And I'm going North Carolina. The next game, I don't know why you have Florida. I just don't see the talent in that game. But
Riley Kugel, good player.
I guess.
I really am telling you, I don't think talent matters as much as being at home when it comes to conference play. It's crazy, and we have seen too small of a sample size this year. I'm going to further my point. So Purdue has not lost a lot in the Big Ten of late, right? Like, they're probably not going to lose a lot this year. Last year, they didn't lose a lot. But this year, they played Northwestern in their first Big Ten game on the road. And Northwestern lost to Chico State, a terrible no-conference team, and they lost. But at home, they beat Purdue. And that just goes to show, especially Florida-Kentucky, which is kind of one of the bigger basketball rivalries in the SEC, because obviously Florida has had many moments this century of being dominant. So I don't know. I just think, the Gatorland's going to be great. I forget the name of the stadium or the arena they play in, which is stupid. I should definitely know. But I literally grew up watching Florida basketball, so I should know. But yeah, I'm going Florida. Especially Kentucky's all the way up to 6 now. Just it feels like they're due for a loss, especially this rivalry kind of game.
That's fair.
They're going to be a heavy favorite.
That's fair.
Heavy favorite.
All right, I got a hard out in 5. So, are there any last games you want to talk about?
Let's talk about you going Ole Miss. I'm going Tennessee. That's the last one we need to talk about.
This game should be an absolute battle. What Chris Beard has done to turn this Ole Miss program around in such a short time. Ole Miss was one of the worst basketball programs in the SEC. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for this game. Tennessee is going to be a popular Final Four pick for people in March. I truly, well, maybe not Final Four just because of
They
Tennessee's
never make it
history in
there.
the tournament, but I do think like they play a really fun brand of basketball, and so does Ole Miss. Like this will be, if anything, like a fun game to watch. So
I hope so.
I
I do.
understand that like I'm picking against Tennessee at home, like they do the checkerboard, like it's gonna be a raucous environment, but I believe in Chris Beard, so fuck it, we ball.
Yeah, I do think the spread here is going to be like surprising to some people because
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss is going to be ranked 22 in this game, going into Tennessee, but it's a ranked matchup where you're expecting the spread to be maybe like Tennessee -5. I think Tennessee's going to be like 12.5 point favorite
Mm-hmm.
because you look at Ole Miss and you see that they've beat some not great teams by like one or two. They were kind of just scraping by. Are they? They might still be undefeated for all I know because
They are.
of their, yeah. So that like their non-conference was just like a bunch of luck and a bunch of not great teams. But you got to tip your cap to Chris Beard because he has done a fantastic job. Like it went from is he ever going to coach again to Ole Miss taking a chance on him
Mm-hmm.
to him immediately proving that he's one of the best coaches in college basketball. Like within 13 games of this season, he's just like, yeah, I'm back and I'm the best. And I think people are still sleeping on Ole Miss. Some people don't have them, making it into the tournament. Some people are saying they're going to finish like 10th in the SEC. They're legit. It's just, are they going to beat Tennessee's, stacked team
Yeah,
in Tennessee? The spread is going to be
that
crazy.
is,
Like,
that
I,
is
I just don't.
absolutely the pick I feel the least confident on. But like sometimes you gotta have
Yeah,
fun,
I
and
wanted to hear your thoughts there. And I completely agree with everything you said about just Chris Beard and what he's done. So,
yep.
but that pretty much wraps it up. I'll post a graphic for everyone to see for our game picks.
Yeah. And then
Um,
for our bets, as these lines come out, make sure you follow Nick and I, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. All of that stuff's linked in. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, it's in the description below. If you're listening to YouTube, it's on the description there as well. So make sure you guys go give us a follow. College basketball is probably my best thing that I bet outside of bowl season. Um, so make sure, because it's hard to give you guys these bets a week in advance when we don't know the lines. But make sure you follow us on our socials. That way we can give you the most up-to-date information and you guys can see all that stuff.
yep.
Cool.
All right.
All right. We will see you in the next one. Peace.
Saya.